This is Media Philosophy, exploring the deeper side of Newgrounds, one of my favorite websites growing up, and it's really strange that it never got more popular, but I guess Newgrounds can only grow as much as Flash does, and now that Macromedia Flash is out the window, it's really hard, I guess, for as many people to get into things like maybe animation, because I remember Macromedia Flash just being such a user-friendly program. And nowadays, I don't even know what kind of animation programs there really are. I mean, I guess at the end of the day, you could even use PowerPoint, Photoshop. I mean, as long as you can just draw frame after frame, you can do animation. But I love Newgrounds as a kid. I love animation. If you can't tell by all the videos talking about Disney and whatnot, I love animation. So it's only natural. And I don't know if my love for animation was pre or post Newgrounds. I would imagine it kind of fed into each other, because as a kid, you're just going to naturally love cartoons. But the thing about Newgrounds is it was just such a natural, pure place for people to make cartoons, to share their work, and it was during a much more pure time for the internet, maybe we'll say. I guess everyone can sort of claim that their time was always, as a kid, was always going to be more pure, a little bit better, but I do think there was something about the earliest to mid 2000s that have been lost today, and that's mostly thanks to the monetization, the monetization motivation behind most people's content creation. Whereas during, I would say, when I was on Newgrounds or even early YouTube, I mean, maybe on early YouTube there's always that myth that if you got like 1 million views, they'd give you something, but regardless, on Newgrounds, you weren't really making stuff to make a lot of money. I guess there was an update where they did allow you to put ads within like loading screens or whatnot, but you never really see those baked in ads that you see that are so common on YouTube, that are so common on those games that you can download for your phones, those kid predatory apps that I hate so much. I guess Newgrounds had the worst offender would be like banner apps, but even those weren't like the most intrusive. I mean, sometimes they could be even a little fun or interesting. But I mean, I don't really remember Newgrounds being like littered with pop-up ads and whatnot. But I just loved being able to stumble upon so many wonderful, talented artists. And I was on Newgrounds during the day of like Biddy of Brackenwood, what is his name, Adam Phillips is I guess the guy who made that, Project DCK with Psycon, one of my favorite animators, Legendary Frog. It was such a good time. I really feel bad for those animators during that time. I would really like to know what a lot of them are up to in 2025, if they're still working on art, if they've moved on, what was it like to be sort of like a D-list internet celebrity back in the early 2000s, before again there was that it could really pay off. I mean, South Park does a whole episode mocking all of the viral sensations throughout the internet before there was really a way to compensate those who create those viral content that we all consume throughout the day. So what was the point of people to be on Newgrounds? Again, it was just the love of animation. I think you can't make 2D animation or just animation in general without just a pure love for it, and that's what Tom Phelps and all the rest and the rest of the crew did when creating Newgrounds. And it even got me. I was so happy that I was able to animate and have Macromedia Flash. It was such, like I said, a pure time. Probably some of the best, obviously it was my teenage childhood, adolescence, so obviously I'm going to use rose-colored glasses, but I just can't think of a better way to spend my time. Maybe I should have actually been socializing during that time, but I digress. I was instead using Flash animation to draw little cartoons for myself, and I still, it gives me a more appreciation for a lot of the 2D animation that I see today still. And even though I might not be a great animator or a great artist, I'm just glad that a place like Newgrounds did exist during its time, because I just remember spending hours a day just watching so much indie content. And it was indie content, just like I guess nowadays there's, high effort crap, there's high effort, art, there's low effort crap. I mean, Newgrounds was the king of just spam. But I guess it's really interesting. I don't know why more social media companies don't engage in the whole filter, the whole user spam filter, where people still have to vote, what they call it, blamming. I went on Newgrounds recently and saw that they're still voting, they're still blamming content, so that is great. I wonder what the preferred method for files are, but it's just whatever video files you can give them nowadays. I mean, there's probably a smorgasbord, but rest in peace Flash, rest in peace SWF. But I would imagine that the difference between Newgrounds, because they were probably primed to go the whole venture capitalist route and just suck as much money from the internet as possible. I mean, just like Mark Zuckerberg or Twitter, or I guess Instagram is Mark Zuckerberg. Wow, he really is like one of the architects of the end of the evilness of the internet. But anyways, I guess Tom Phelps could have been like a Mark Zuckerberg, but I would say that Tom Phelps should be more praised as like the I forgot it. Tom from MySpace. Something about Toms and the internet that just create great content. But Tom Phelps probably could have sold people's data, went a more social media route, went more algorithm, just, the whole content, keep people hooked and things like that. But instead, when I went back to Newgrounds recently, it still felt and looked more or less the same. Figuring out how to search for content and use the filters was a little bit difficult, but I could still get where I needed to go more or less. I was really sad to see some of the collections have gone, but what are you gonna do? Things you get so many files, you can't just have like curated collections before, and that was always so much fun. Back in old Newgrounds, there were like video game collections, movie collections, and it was just like a hand-picked selection of different shorts. I don't want to out myself, but my biggest claim to internet fame as a kid was getting into the Resident Evil collection. That made me feel so good that a cartoon that I made was deemed worthy enough to get in the Resident Evil collection. So that is still a proud moment of mine. I remember being just so blown away from some of the stuff I saw on Newgrounds. Just some of the art, some of the animation, even if it was probably not that impressive or sophisticated, it just spoke to me. And there was just so many artists with varying styles. I think that was just what really appealed, is that you could just go out and find so many things that were, related to IP, cartoons on Mario, Sonic, Halo, Resident Evil. I was a huge video game nerd. But there was also, more original content series as well. Like I said, like Project DCK, Tomorrow's Nobodies. But yeah, I probably mostly gravitated towards the games. I forgot about the games. So many classic games. Stick RPG is the one that really comes up to my knowledge right now. There was this really fun dating sim one as well. I remember you had to go build a time machine with the girlfriend that you were dating. It was ridiculous, but again, it was just so much fun. So many hours. And what I liked again about those games is they weren't just riddled with ads. Sure, they were probably violent as hell, and my parents probably had no idea what I was watching, but probably for the best. And I am glad it looks like spaces like this still kind of exist. The downside about YouTube, again, is just, I guess, anybody can post anything. And unlike Newgrounds, which does seem to have more of a personal touch, which does seem to have a more authentic rating system that does reward certain content over others, that if you really do make a good animation, it's going to get, eyes on it, Just through the portal alone, you're guaranteed to at least get an amount of people to watch it. And I guess just because it's more of a contained audience, maybe more people are just bound to stumble upon things upon Newgrounds versus YouTube, which is just endless, 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 endless. But if we're talking about internet history, I mean, Newgrounds is full of internet history. Not even just talking about the Numa dance and whatnot, but Pico. There's a lot of Flash games that I'm sure have almost seeped into maybe more millennial, maybe zillennial lore as well. Because I can't imagine anybody really. Oh, what was that? Retarded animal babies? Can I say that word? That was almost, what is it? Happy Tree Friends. It's like bastardized cousin or whatnot. Man, I remember feeling almost so like guilty watching some Newgrounds shorts, just knowing that I shouldn't be watching them because they're, you had to self-censor. So I guess that's the one thing at least nice on YouTube is there's at least supposedly somewhat more of a content filter, somewhat. I bet it's actually worse on YouTube because at least on Newgrounds they do allow adult content. So if you do want to post adult content, you can label the content appropriately and you're not incentivized to lie about it, versus YouTube where you're going to try to sneak adult content in, and when you're doing that, they're going to be like Elsa and Spider-Man being creepy stuff. I think they have definitely gotten better with like ElsaGate YouTube, but still, you're going to find some questionable stuff on there that just toes the line of just being a little bit too creepy. But I guess I just had to put myself in the shoes of the adolescents of today. And kids are going to be curious and want to see sexual stuff with their favorite characters. So that is the circle of life. I can see the problems with it now. Not really the problems with it. I guess I just have, again, a problem with YouTube. Just because I am a curmudgeon, and back in my day, it had to be animated through Macromedia Flash. And again, I do think it was a special website that still exists. And I do wonder how much love it gets. I wonder how much new traffic it gets. I mean, who honestly is talking about Newgrounds nowadays? Because I remember when I was a kid, I had to have a friend whose brother showed them the website, and I was hooked instantly. It was just the coolest website. It was dark. It was fun. It was, again, full of games and characters, funny videos, and serious videos. Sometimes even serious videos that made you feel like it just had the gambit. I remember even watching some of those silly Mushroom Kingdom sprite videos. I'm sure you can find like Mushroom Kingdom battle videos, where it'd be just sprite animations of the like Super Mario Bros. From the NES or Super Nintendo, just animated to tell an epic battle of the Mushroom Kingdom fighting Bowser's army. I'm getting chills just thinking about it. I think in one episode, maybe Mario or Luigi dies. It was so good. There was this other sprite animated cartoon where it was a Resident Evil, but with Mario sprites. It was like Mario Evil. It was just so much fun. And again, I just am so glad that I got to experience this. There's a lot of childhood ways to experience childhoods. There's the ups and downs with childhoods. You can't have a perfect childhood. Do I lack some social skills now? Yes. But I can reflect on maybe not specific memories, but just these certain feelings that give me these really fun goosebumps that almost just send shivers down my spine when I feel them. Because I guess I was just swimming in some sort of art. Day in and day out, one way or the other. I guess the way you would look at it is on Newgrounds. I mean, it is art. It is people, whether it's comedy, drama, whatever. I mean, these are just series of drawings, movie backgrounds. And I was just always so inspired, and I probably should have actually practiced my art more. I was so focused on trying to think like the right way to draw than just drawing. And I probably, if I wasn't so hung up on, like I said, drawing a certain way, doing like the circle and then the lines through it. So if this is your first time hearing about Newgrounds, go check it out. There's so much fun content there, all focused or mostly focused around animation. It might be a little hard to navigate, but I would probably just start with the top 50 animated shorts at this time. You're gonna find some beautiful gems, some wonderful gems. So I would say check out Newgrounds. Still a wonderful site. Some of the older stuff is a little bit buggy because SWF's Flash has no longer been supported. So some of the games have been broken. Some of the older cartoons you really can't watch anymore, which is a shame, but what are you gonna do? Some of it has been preserved, luckily. This is Media Philosophy, exploring the deeper side of entertainment.